But so we're here to ask questions, right? So Maseo has done a lot. De La Soul has been through a lot. You know, and the Anonymous Nobody. That album came out, what was it, 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2.5.
2.5 years ago. I still listen to this album. Musically, it did something that I hadn't really heard from a hip hop, quote unquote, hip hop album. You bended genres. You know, you guys did crowdfunding in order to do whatever it was that you guys wanted to do. Creatively, this was something different. You and I in the car earlier, we talked a little bit about creativity. We talked a bit about where it comes from, and we even talked about this album. But what was it that made you all decide to go in that direction? Was that something that came from the soul? Was it of the soul? Or was this something that as you got into music, it organically happened? I mean, you guys had, you know, there's a little bit of rock, a little alternative, a little funk, hip hop. There were songs where you wouldn't hear rapping until the end. The song structure was completely different. What made you guys decide to go in that direction?
Overall, I mean, the soul is always in every album, you know, especially at that particular time and stage in our lives. But why we decided to go in this direction, one reason was because in the past, our career has been predicated on sampling. We have developed some sampling issues, legal issues in the past behind sampling. And then also being out of the business, well, technically out of the business for like 12 years, not making a record, industry taking a complete turn, the value has completely dropped. Deals weren't the normal deals we were conditioned to. So it was a number of things that led us to that crowdfunding, especially based on what we had been conditioned to after the second album.
That was the second.
More so after the second. You know, type of budgets that we were conditioned to make the type of record we like to make, especially with our sampling being a big part of our creative, you know, knack.
Yeah.
So this record was to try to avoid that. We figured we worked with, well, we were working with a band for about 3 years prior to making that record, a band called Rhythm Roots All Stars.
Oh, that was,
yeah.
You told me this earlier and it's just hitting, I know, okay, yeah.
About 13 guys from Los Angeles. And we developed a great chemistry with them. We had toured with them for about a good 5 years. But 3 years prior to the album is when we started recording music with them. We recorded maybe like, I want to say like 200 hours worth of music.
Okay, wait.
Jam sessions, just jam sessions.
You got that with you? You got that?
Sorry?
Those 200 hours, I need that.
Do I?
I need those 200 hours. I need all of it. I'm not going to sell it. I just need it from me.
We still plucking ideas from those 200 hours. Right. You know, just, you know, thinking back in those times when music was really being created from an organic place of everybody being in the room together, either humming a melody or the band just having a jam session, thinking of those times of, you know, Parliament Funkadelic or Ohio Players and how they really came up with that magic is behind everybody truly being in the room together, developing from a conversation onto the jam session to whatever this magic is going to turn into. I mean, over the last 15 plus years, I believe everyone has been making records with no real soul in it. People have been sending files back and forth. If you really know the science behind making music, you can really tell when people haven't been in the room together, that everybody figured out the mathematical, scientific way just to deliver a song, but it doesn't really have the soul in it. It doesn't have that, you can tell there's no connection, you know?
That's something that I talk to people about, you know, when people ask about the creative process, and, you know, I think part of what makes creativity great and when it really works is when you have someone in the room to say no. When you have someone in the room that has a different perspective, and when they hear it, they're just like, yo, why don't we do it like this instead of like that? And what I'm noticing the same thing. You hear music, and maybe it's just me, you know, and I used to do music. When I hear their vocals, it sounds like they were recorded in different places. You know, you didn't have this person writing his rhyme in the same room with this other person.
Yeah.
You know, that was one of the things I liked about Wu-Tang. You know, they were all battling to get on the song.
Pretty much.
You know?
It was always some kind of friendly competition.
Exactly.
To make the song great. I mean, that's what it always had been with us, let alone the native tongue in general. When we were all in the studio together, from us, Jungle, Tribe, Latifah, Black Sheep, even from Brand Nubians to Diamond D. I mean, it was a friendly competition to, one, make sure that we all made each other better.
Right.
You know, it was just a different era in time, you know. I think we strive to really make good music as opposed to trying to make hit records. You know, hit records is only for the moment, classics are forever.
Yeah.
So, you know, getting those lessons early on, especially from people who came before us, like a Biz Markie, Dougie Fresh, Chuck D, Stetson Sonic, you know, it was just so much that came before us. That was a lot of great lessons early on, and here it is, we even came in a time where you didn't even expect it to be what it is today.
Right.
You know, it was a childhood dream coming true, something that was totally defiant.
Like, you know, they do that in there.
My mother did not want me doing this, you know, but although she's proud, you know what I mean?
Right.